What has to be said also is that such solar storms are forming up to a climax in an exact rhythm of 11 years, which is a normal occurrence, but in the year 2012 it may happen in an extraordinary magnitude. The Earth will fall victim to a very strong bombardment of hard radiation, which may have a very negative effect on the Earth's ozone layer. Due to the entire resulting process, nitric oxides and acid rain can be formed worldwide, which may have evil and devastating effects on the entire plant life. The enormous solar eruptions can lead to further very strong climate changes and, with it, to immense droughts, bad weather, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, crop failure and, therefore, to even greater famines than have existed up to now. Besides all this, the year 2012 brings other unpleasant events, like for example, an unknown, invisible, dark and huge space wanderer that is threatening from the fringe of our solar system and could wreak tremendous havoc regarding Earth. And if this should really occur, the fact of its existence would be openly proven starting with 2010 or 2011, if at all, because the possibility of a dark and, therefore, non-observable passage of the Colossus is also possible. Besides, all kinds of unpleasant machinations regarding discord, worldwide heavy warlike actions, as well as increasing degeneracy and excessive human ways of behavior are threatening for the year 2012, whereby all those things are especially evil. Which thereto? Ptaah says, "You should not say more, because what you explained should be enough." Billy says, "Good, then it's enough. But the human beings of Earth would be interested in what the Mayan calendar has to do regarding the 21st of December 2012. Ptaah says, "That is possible, yes. Regarding the Mayan calendar, the 21st of December 2012 represents the culmination of a star constellation that occurs only every 26,000 years. The Mayan calculations are assuming that the Earth on the 21st of December 2012 shall lie on an imaginary line that fits together the star over the left side of the constellation Orion with the central sum, i.e., the center of the Milky Way. The Sun meets the Milky Way at a location that is built by interstellar dust clouds, and is called dark cleft of the Milky Way by the human beings of Earth. On the 21st of December 2012, at nightfall of winter solstice, the Sun is directly in that cleft, and it is in such a position that the Milky Way covers the horizon in all positions all around. From this is resulting the optical impression that the Milky Way would touch Earth all around and that the galaxy would lie directly on the Earth. On the whole, that's the end product of the Mayan calendar recording. This should suffice, my friend. To say more would be too much of a good thing, because it would foster the fear of the human beings of Earth, which should not be, however. So keep silent regarding the further explanations that we gave you." Billy says, "I will, but otherwise I would like to say something regarding the climatic change that shall not be allowed to be forgotten, but is deliberately disputed by responsible scientists as well by non-profit-making organizations. This is so because they are bribed by big oil and tobacco companies as well as by noted chemical multinational companies with great amounts going into the millions. As a result, the venal experts construct false experts' reports and are telling lies that there is no increase in climatic temperature and that no catastrophe is threatening. Groups of companies that are criminal regarding this are gathering scientists and organizations which they have bought or who are submissively dependent on them, because they, the companies, assume that the ignorant terrestrial population would rather believe in the lies of the bought-off scientists and organizations than those scientists who are demonstrating the increase of the climatic temperature. They want to give the impression that there are a great number of good scientists and organizations who can prove that there is no increase in climatic temperature and, therefore, no related catastrophe may be expected. In fact, it is not only a case of amounts going into millions, but of billions, and those who are greedy for profits do not care if the world and the life foundation of the entire humankind is destroyed. All those who are entangled in this are leading a conspiracy campaign through which the effective truth of the climatic change is disputed, and through it there shall be prevented that worldwide effective climate-protecting laws are enacted and implemented. If such laws were enacted and be effective, the groups of companies etc. would lose enormous amounts going into the billions, just as profitable sources of income of the submissively dependent scientists and organizations would run dry. So they are vehemently working on their false experts' reports, which are full of lies, and with which they are trying to boycott the really serious research results of the honest and the good scientists, and to insult them as figments of the imagination. As a result, measures for the protection of the climate have been delayed for decades, so the groups of companies, which are denying the climatic change, have earned many billions. But it is true that the climatic change takes place, however, not alone through circumstances that have appeared since time immemorial in a natural way, but more than 75% because of factors caused by the human beings. But ultimately, the climatic change does not only have an effect on the earth and its waters and nature, because it is already verifiable that the glaciers and poles are melting in a catastrophic way, and that the ocean currents are changing, through which still on a small scale new gravitation waves are built that are also running into space at very high speed. So the Earth's gravitational field will also change by this, and not only through the threatening sunstorms in the year 2012, and this will not be restricted to the planet alone, but will also have an effect out into space, as a gravitation-spaced tsunami, so to speak. The climatic change does not change Earth alone, but it bears effects into the SOL system, to the Kuiper belt, and probably even much farther into space. If the ocean currents are intermingling, they create tremendous amounts of energy through their huge masses of water, which are influencing the gravitational field, besides the contraction and compression of the Earth's atmosphere, which has already imperceptibly started. Through the whole thing of the already occurring climatic change, inevitably the first changes have arisen in the fauna and flora which are not yet been detected by the scientists, unfortunately, but from which sooner or later visible consequences will emerge. The time has already come that the climate change is moving around gigantic masses of ice and water, through which dangerous pressure effects on the Earth's crust are created and tectonic shifts are provoked. This inevitably leads to more severe earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, as is also the case with large reservoirs, which is still disputed by the bigoted scientists, not seldom because they don't want to admit the truth or are paid for their false calculations by the billions-worth companies. However, what is not heeded with the necessary care is the fact that through the melting of the inland glaciers of all countries, as well as the melting of the glaciers of Greenland, the Antarctica and Arctic, the sea level rises, which finally leads to disastrous geological consequences.